Hello, vinyl community. This is Aaron, the Metal Theologian, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about one of my very favorite metal labels. I think underappreciated label out of France called Devil's Records. Now, I've been thinking a lot about what I could say about some of these records. I like to go through record by record and talk about each one, but I feel like I'd end up repeating myself because what these records really have in common is just a combination of character and sound. They're heavy. They're well recorded. They have a good bass, a good bottom sound, like good riffs, and the drums come through in the mix properly. In contrast, that kind of tinny, coke-addled production you hear in a lot of '80s releases. To my mind, one record that immediately comes to mind that suffers from that is actually "Don't Break the Oath" by Merciful Fate. Of course, it's one of my all-time favorite records. Don't get me wrong, but it has so much treble in it that it kind of it always takes me about halfway through the first song to get used to just the sound of the thing, even compared to Melissa. So these guys don't have that. They're all fat and heavy and pretty much guaranteed to piss off the neighbors. So this video might end up being a little bit more just sort of eye candy than discussion piece by piece, but I'll see what I can do. It's a lot anyway, so I don't want to ramble on forever. First one here. These are in no particular order. The first one is a compilation called HMP Presents, or actually, you can tolerate my French, HMP Présente, the French connection. And this is just a compilation of otherwise really unreleased bands except for Steel Angel. They have 2 songs on here. Good stuff all the way through. I got this kind of recently, so I haven't just fully assimilated it as some of the other ones. Devils did put out one other comp called Bonjour l'Enfer, which I don't have. I hope to score that one someday, although I've seen the track list, and it's mostly stuff from other records, so it didn't freak me out quite as much as that one. Moving on, this is the Killers record. Actually, it's their first record. Damn it, I'm having trouble with the camera today. Fille de la Haine. This one is a very thrashy, very fast. Let's see if that thing focuses already, man. This is kind of bad today. There we go. Alright, yeah, this is a very fast one. Kind of an unusual sounding singer, but in a way that really fits the music. If you're into the thrashy end of the spectrum, this one and the Morsure record are the ones I'm going to recommend to start with. Awesome stuff. This one, these guys you probably heard of. This is Sortilège. That glare is kind of bad. And this is the, surprise, surprise, the French version of their first full-length. They had an EP prior to this on Ravon Records, which is also very cool. This is just an awesome record. You need to hear this if you don't already know it. It's just rocking all the way through. Great melodies on it. Like I said, I don't know what to say about a lot of these. This is probably one of the most American sounding of the batch. This is Stand Up for Rock and Roll Power by Jinx. It's also one of only 2 in the stack that are sung in English instead of French. Like I said, it's kind of an American vibe. Not so much glam, but kind of sort of a street sound more than a lot of these. This is the first ADX full length. Execution. Let's see if I can get that cover in there a little better. It's also a fantastic record. One of the ones that really got me going on the label, but it's just a hard rocker all the way through. It's speedy, sort of arpeggiated riffs. It's really good stuff. This is kind of more towards the epic metal end of the spectrum. This is Der Kaiser. Funny they have a German name with a French album title, Vautour, or whatever that means. Another really good solid one, kind of maideny. It's kind of epic, not to the same degree as this one though. Steel Angel, which is actually also pretty American sounding, but in a very different way than Jinx. This one is really about as epic metal as French bands ever got. Sort of soaring vocals, high-pitched, sort of epic songwriting and riffs. Love it. Alright, this is maybe the worst band name ever. They're called Square. Fucking Square. What are we going to call our band? How about Square? So what do you think? You think it probably sucks? No, it's awesome. This record is great. Start to finish. It's not the strongest one on the label, but it's a very good record. Very enjoyable all the way through. I'm kind of cheating on this one because this one isn't actually on Devils, but this is the Voix de Fée record. And this one actually got reissued on Devils. This is the original press on Arabella. Look how weak those guys look. Look, they don't look tough at all. Great record. Don't let that picture fool you. It's fucking fantastic. Kind of maideny. This one actually has kind of glam writing, but it's played really heavy, which is actually one of my favorite kinds of records. Are when the writing is glam, but the delivery is just fucking balls out. Always kind of hard pressed to come up with examples for that. I mean, Shout at the Devil is probably a good one. Otherwise, the Mistress EP and the Leather Nun record are the only other ones I can think of right off. But every so often I hear those sorts of things and I always gravitate towards them. Here's another one, Attentat Rock. Le Gang de... yeah, whatever, fuck it. And, yeah, it's another heavy rocker. You know, cool riffs, all in French. Very highly recommended. This one is probably, along with Killers, the thrashiest of the lot. This is the Morzu record. Yeah, and again, if you're on the thrashy end of the spectrum, that might be what you want to head for. Here's the Vulcan record. Actually, I think they put out another one on Devils, but I don't have it. This one, I don't know, I've heard them described as the French Motorhead. They're kind of a few French Motorheads, really. They're these guys and Margage and a couple others. But this record is really good. There's kind of a jokey track on here that kind of pisses me off. I don't have a lot of patience for that sort of thing, but looking past that, it's an awesome record. And I actually got that one dirt cheap, so I can honestly say it was worth every penny. But I've played that record a lot, so that sounds a little more harsh than maybe I intended. This is one of the harder pieces to find on the label. This is the Voodoo Child record, Adrenaline. And if there's one thing I find funnier than a satanic lyrics, it's satanic lyrics sung in French. And this one has some of that going on, so that'll make it sound like it's just about laughs, because it's a hard rocker. It has some weird synth sounds, like some weird like keyboard flourishes in there from time to time too, but just give it a really strange sounding vibe. Very highly recommended. Next one, High Power. Another great one. These covers are so good. Alright, and we're coming down towards the end of the stack here. A couple of my favorites here. This might be my very favorite. This is the Stratzone record. The singer was, I think, from Algerian descent, at least. It's a weird-ass cover, isn't it? But this is just a killer from start to finish. Every song is awesome. Super heavy, intense vocals, heavy sound, heavy guitar work. And then there's this one. This is the last one I have. There are a couple others out there. I don't have them all, but I do have most of them. This is the Roz record, Une Autre Vie. Very heavy. It has a spaceship on the cover, where incidentally, I can't help but know that the spells like R-O-S-S, even though the band is R-O-Z-Z. But I don't know, whatever. But this is a hard rockin' record, kind of a gravelly sounding singer, and it's relatively short too. It's just 6 songs and an intro. This, though, is one of the last ones I was able to turn up, and man, I played the hell out of it. It's a fantastic thing. Sort of an afterthought about the Devil's Records discography is that a lot of these bands, for some reason, seem to turn up later on another label called Sydney Records. Now, I'm just realizing I neglected to show the awesome label, the seal of quality here, so let me bust this out on one of these. So this is the Roz record. And that's what these all look like. And the other side's red and just has the song titles, but every one of these has that Devil's label. And every one of these is well worth seeking out. A couple of the ones I'm missing, there's a band called Epsilon. That record actually seems to turn up a lot, but people always want 50 euros for it, and I'm really kind of disinclined to pay that for what I've heard of that record. But who knows, maybe someday I'll change my mind. I'll come back and go, oh my god, Epsilon's the fucking greatest band ever. But we'll see what happens. There's also a second Der Kaiser record I don't have, and there might be one or two more. Anyway, a lot of these bands turned up on the Sydney label later on. Like Steel Angel put out another record that I'm pretty sure was on Sydney. There are a couple Killers records. And that stuff seems to be even harder to find, at least on this side of the Atlantic Ocean, than the Devil's record stuff. So the only one that I have, I'm sort of adding in here a little epilogue. It's actually this one. The Dum Dum Bullet record. And this would be another good candidate for a French Motorhead. I mean, they're definitely influenced by that sound. The singer's kind of gravelly. Even kind of has that Paul Di'Anno thing going on a little bit, if you can see him there. And let me bust this out too and show you the Sydney label while I'm on the topic. So like I said, there isn't going to be a Sydney label feature anytime soon. It would be really short. So that's what that guy looks like. It's also a great record though. Enjoyed the hell out of it. Another thing I can say about these records is I've complained about records being too long. None of these do that. So they're all pretty much just right. So anyway, that's pretty much my stash of Devil's records. If you have any questions or comments about individual ones, feel free to put them in the comments below. And I'll do what I can. I'll go listen to them again, or if you like a particular song or whatever. But overall, man, I mean, most of the stuff, people upload this stuff to YouTube all the time. If you don't have it, you don't want to make the investment, just go check a few things out here and there, because if you already know them, then you know what I'm talking about, and if you don't, man, you need to. So, until next time, thanks for watching.